Okay, you're with us here on a fresh new edition of Trading Hour. I'm Prashant Nair. With me is my colleague Reema Tendulkar. The market is up 12 or 13 points. 10,925 is where we stand at this juncture. I mean, I wouldn't call it listless, but it lacks energy on the upside or downside. We don't have big movers in terms of individual stocks like we had yesterday or on Friday or the last couple of days to keep us busy. It's a more sedate kind of a day, at least so far. At 11 o'clock. Reema, morning.
Hi Prashant, morning. Well, it's listless because volumes have dried off. So Asia has gone into holiday mode and you saw volumes tapering off yesterday as well. So yesterday, the net institutional activity was about 27% lower than what we had in Friday's session. And today you've got Asian markets like the Hong Kong market, the Chinese markets, Taiwanese, South Korean markets, all shut on account of the Chinese New Year. So volumes should be on the lower side today as well. So that explains why the markets are listless.
It's the Chinese year of the pig, right?
I think so. But I'm not going to say that on national television till I'm very sure. But anyway, while it's quite flat on the surface, there are individual stocks which are holding up the markets and keeping it at the 10,900 level. And you're going to attribute it to Hrithik.
Hrithik. Not Hrithik Roshan, but Hrithik. I mean, just Hrithik. And I mean, we don't know whether this is a commonly used slang to describe this phenomenon in the market, but at least I came across it yesterday. So what is the Hrithik factor? I mean, it is essentially a couple of stocks which are holding up the market. So, I mean, here you go. There is HDFC, there is Reliance, HRI, ICICI Bank, T, TCS, H, HDFC Bank, I, IndusInd Bank, and K, Kotak. I mean, I think, one stock which is missing is Infosys. But I think we'd have to kind of sort of live with this.
Maybe the IndusInd should be replaced with Infosys, I think.
And we could, right?
Yeah, because IndusInd has not done particularly well. So I guess that the last I could be Infosys.
Infosys instead of IndusInd. Or we could maybe interchangeably use it depending on what is doing well. But I think it's pretty clear that it is just these, 6, 7, 8 stocks which is keeping this market alive and kicking. And actually, you saw what happened yesterday, that massive recovery from the lows. It was just led by a couple of these stocks. And it's not that all these stocks are performing every day, but these are heavy enough stocks and you get enough traction with just 2 or 3 of them performing. This was a Bank of America note which from the 31st of January, which is just a couple of days back on Thursday, essentially. And this is what they said. The Nifty is up around 1%. I mean, actually, it's now up 0.6%. I checked before coming in. Nifty is up around 1% this year, but only 14 of the 50 Nifty stocks have actually done more than 1%. Even within this set, within the Nifty 50, the top 5 stocks have accounted for 88% of the Nifty's up move, right? And the up move is not much, as we just put out. 76% of the top BSE 500 stocks are down on a year-to-date basis. 3/4 of the market is down. And 28% of this 500 group of stocks is down more than 10% in the last 1 month. So, I mean, just some numbers. I think we all intuitively know that the broader market has been absolutely crushed and done and dusted with, while these 7, 8 stocks have given us some semblance that, all is not lost at this point. But this is a market, this is a completely bipolar kind of market with very, very little participation at this point. Reema.
Yes, and to throw in another fact, the market breadth has been negative in 12 out of the last 14 trading sessions. So that just, ties in with what Prashant is saying, that the market has actually been quite narrow. But let's invite Sudarshan Sukhani of S2Analytics.com to find out if there is a trade beneath the surface. Sudarshan, flat at the index level, how would you approach it now and your individual picks?
Yeah, good morning. Well, it's flat at the index level, although we did see that stupendous last hour rally yesterday. We are now reaching back to that 10,950 strong resistance zone. My view continues to be that the markets are likely to face resistance and February should be lower, which means we should see lower levels. So a positional trade on the short side is justified, which is what I am taking. Of course, if markets change their stance, if they cross 950, stay there decisively, then we'll change our view. But as of now, we are looking at a positional short. Individual stocks have buy and sell both. That's the nature of the market. A sideways market gives you opportunities. So Piramal Enterprises is a buy, PEL. That's a stock that has fallen a lot, built a small base and is now looking to higher levels, breaking out from that base. The second buy I have is Asian Paints. Again, another very good quality share that's been a little choppy. It's bouncing from the lows. So at least a momentum trade is available here. So two buy ideas, PEL, Piramal Enterprises, Asian Paints and Godrej Consumer Products is a short sell. It's almost at the lows of many months and breaking those lows. So that's a short here and a mixed market.
Okay, thanks very much. We've got a question coming in from a viewer, Sudarshan. So this is a question on Yes Bank. A viewer has bought the share at 215 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should hold or sell. Remember, the Yes Bank stock went up to about 241 after the CEO announcement. And from that, in the last week and a half, it's down to 180 or so. What would you tell him? What should he do?
Well, I think he should sell and exit Yes Bank. Now, it's always possible that it can go up 10% on any day. I can't predict that kind of a random movement. But the sense is that a stock that is in the news for all the wrong reasons is a stock we don't want to own. So exit Yes Bank, switch, in fact, don't exit the private banking sector, switch to ICICI Bank, to HDFC Bank. So you remain in the banking sector, but you remain with the better banks.
Okay, Sudarshan, thank you very much for that. So essentially exit is the advice coming in from Sudarshan on Yes Bank at this point. There are flashes at the bottom of the screen. This is CBI versus Mamata Banerjee, Chief Minister of Bengal. Supreme Court asks Kolkata Police Commissioner to appear before the CBI. So this would seem like a bit of a victory for the centre. SC issues notice to West Bengal government on CBI's contempt notice. And I think we'd have some more details. But prima facie, okay, SC says no coercive action can be taken against Rajiv Kumar, who is the Commissioner of Police in Kolkata. The attempted arrest, the attempted questioning of whom started this entire controversy, which we're seeing in West Bengal. But we'll have more on that in just a bit. Bharti Airtel, coming back to markets and stocks. Bharti is the top loser on the Nifty today. It's seeing a 1.5% cut. It's recovered from the lows of the day. Rating agency Moody's has downgraded their rating to non-investment grade. Or junk. I mean, this is, I think, Bharti consolidated, Reema, right?
Yes.
The entire business.
The entire business, India and Africa. So the corporate family rating or Bharti's consolidated business rating has come down from BAA3 to BA1, which basically means a non-investment grade or a speculative rating, or what we simply called as a junk rating. Not just that, they've also downgraded the senior unsecured notes, again, to the speculative rate or a junk rating. Now, the unsecured senior notes are about $3.7 billion out of the total debt of $15 billion of the company, of which Netherlands is about $2.7 billion and the India unsecured bonds stand at $1 billion. The rating outlook by Moody's is negative. Remember, they had put the company on a review for a downgrade on 8th of November, and 2.5 months later that has come through. The reasons are known, so there is uncertainty whether the profitability of the company can improve sustainably and materially from here on, considering the competitive environment, the profitability of the India business to remain weak. And although they acknowledge that the company is taking steps to bring down their debt, they believe the cash flow generation from the India business will keep the leverage elevated. Going ahead, Moody's says that the rating outlook could be stabilized if Bharti strengthens its credit profile with the stabilization of the core India mobile and the non-mobile services. Just bear in mind that in this month itself, that the company has already raised about $200 million from Qatar Investment Authority for the Africa business, and plus they have plans for the Africa IPO, as well as some sort of equity raising, perhaps through the rights issue. So that will also further help in bringing down their debt. And the company has an investment grade rating from the other rating agencies. But for now, because the rating agency Moody's has cut the consolidated outlook of Bharti Airtel to a non-investment grade, it has spooked the markets.
Okay, 300 rupees or so on Bharti as we speak, 1.5% lower. Reema, thanks for that. We move on to the pharma space now. Dr. Reddy's is actually the top gainer. Indivior has lost the bid for the rehearing in the Suboxone case. So Ekta is with us for the details. Ekta, over to you.
Well, yes, definitely positive news which is coming for Dr. Reddy's, as Indivior has now lost the bid for rehearing in the Suboxone case. Now, just to give you a little bit of a background with regards to Suboxone, it is an important drug. It is an anti-drug addiction drug in the US, which Indivior has a patent on. Remember that Dr. Reddy's had launched the drug at risk. In 2018, they had to withdraw it because the litigation in the US went against them. So now that this particular piece of news means that Dr. Reddy's can relaunch the drug in the US markets. But the dynamics have changed quite a bit. The market size is still at around $750 million, but there could be more generic companies that could be selling the drug along with Dr. Reddy's in the US market. That includes Alvogen. There is a possibility that Sandoz is the authorized generic, along with the likes of Mylan also, which could be launching the drug in the US market. So the market size could then dwindle down to even as low as $30 million. The range is wide right now in terms of what Dr. Reddy's could make, anywhere between 30 to around $70 million. It will depend on who else is selling the drug at the same time as Dr. Reddy's. That will play out in the next couple of weeks. Separate thing, remember that this is still an at-risk launch. That means that there is a litigation pending in the US and Dr. Reddy's has still launched the drug pending the outcome of that particular litigation. So that risk always remains.
Moving on, thanks Ekta for that. Jubilant FoodWorks is under pressure as the company has now come under the scanner for alleged profiteering under GST. Tim C joins in with the details. Tim C, earlier it was HUL, now it's Jubilant.
Well, you rightly mentioned, Jubilant is one of the biggest, one of the few big orders that National Anti-Profiteering Authority has come up with in the recent times, starting with HUL, which was around 535 odd crore rupees of profiteering. Last week itself, National Anti-Profiteering Authority issued orders against Jubilant, saying that they profiteered by not passing on the rate cut benefits that were announced in November 2017. And according to the authority, they assessed profiteering of about 42 odd crore rupees. Now, on the other hand, when we see all these orders coming in, Jubilant, in response, said that the company has passed on the benefits and the loss due to input credit withdrawal was higher than the price hike taken. And that is why this is not taken into account by the National Anti-Profiteering Authority. And companies will explore all possible options after studying the order. If company decides to take the legal court, it would be a similar case just like HUL. HUL has also approached courts in trying to, take it forward that they have not profiteered. Whatever profiteering they had done is already known. So let's see what happens finally, because it's a two-way litigation that is happening. Government issuing orders of profiteering and companies going back to high courts and Supreme Court saying that they haven't profiteered. Let's see what Jubilant does. Back to you.
Okay, Timsy, thank you very much for that and getting us those details. I just want to point out that 5% cut on Jubilant on a 42 crore setback, it just seems disproportionate. So is there more? Is there something else? At this point, not clear, but the stock's taking a big knock. 1330 or so is where Jubilant is at. And those are the other stocks we discussed right on top. We take a very quick break here, the first on the show. We come back and we speak with Purvi Mehta Bhatt, Senior Advisor and Head of Agriculture for South Asia at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, to get her views on the SOPs announced for farmers in the budget. Back in 2.